Into the ropes and off. A flying tackle by and a drop kick.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Got to hold this just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm a real heavyweight champion.
Gotta be the best of me. More to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
They call this the 10 pounds of gold championship. As existed in a certain Crockett.
That canvas pretty hard, and look at Buddy going to work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of TEW 2020, Billy Corgan's NWA. We have the finals of the Crockett Cup in for tonight. This will be a good one. I have not looked at the results yet, so we'll be doing it live. I have a suspicion of where it led to, but who knows? Maybe there's a swerve in there or something like that, but the winner of the Crockett Cup will not only be, obviously, the winner of the Crockett Cup, but also get a title shot at the Great American Bash in 11 days, so, you know, that'll be a good win for them. We'll also be starting, not today, but probably in the next episode of Power. We might just be doing it in a pre-show, or maybe just randomly. It's not going to have much fanfare. We're going to do a just a loser's bracket to let the tag teams that we still have on contract have a chance to also get a contract signing. And we're going to run that. Like I said, it might just be pre-shows or something like that. It's not going to have much fanfare. We are talking, though, about a future tournament, because I had so much fun running this tournament and having people vote. We might be doing the first Circle Squared tournament. It'll be a singles competition with a similar goal to hire a new talent in a big way, and maybe have a shot at like the Alliance title. So keep a lookout for that. It's still in the works, but it looks like it's probably going to be a Discord voting where we'll probably just do a live stream. And it'll be notified in Discord first, so the people that are in the Discord get notified at the time, and then the first 16 people that get into the live stream get to pick a person that will be their sort of representation. So we'll go through the listing of free talent to hire. It'll all be people that are not signed in NWA that can work here, and we will build out a roster, or not a roster, but a tournament bracket, and then we'll see where it goes, and it's almost a battle of who do I like most. So you guys will be putting people in place that who knows who they will be, and then I'll basically have to pick through the tournament. But that's a little bit away. It's probably not until at least after Great American Bash, but keep an eye out. And if you're not part of the official Durger Time Discord, go ahead and join. Description has a link for it. It is a pretty fun place where you just can bash me, apparently, over and over again. That's what I've learned from my Discord. But you'll get notified about that. You'll kind of be able to get an insight on the creative process in the game. You can also join the Cyberpunk Writers Room, which was giving suggestions and characters and plot ideas for the upcoming Cyberpunk save that will be coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm still fine-tuning some behind-the-scenes things first with some of the special effects and the graphics that we're going to be using. But once that's up, you'll have a little bit of control over there. So go ahead and join that Discord. It'd be nice to see y'all there. Now, what do we have going on in the world? Not much since we last left it. Nothing crazy, at least. So for the most part, we can just go on over to the next episode of Power. We have been improving in our progress very slowly, about 1 point a month for the most part. In most areas, Mid-Atlantic's been a little bit slower. We've not really grown in our home territory, which is unfortunate because one of the things that we need to actually move on up is to go north or go west. So this new size thing is really not that much different, to be honest. I kind of was more excited about it before 2020 came out, but for the most part it's the same, but it's just a little bit more of flavor text. But at this point we have built a fan base, and now we have to move north or west to expand into a medium company. So we need to achieve 59 popularity in our home region of the Southeast, which we're currently at 42. and 35 in either the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, or Mid-South. Well, 35 is no problem anywhere here now, but it's really now about getting that 59, and the fact that we haven't moved that needle is unfortunate, and some of that has to do with the shows and the show history. So what have we had here? We had a 55 that moved the needle there. 47 wouldn't have. It might have a little bit. You have to be, I believe, 8 points higher, but I might be wrong. But I think you have to be 7 or 8 points higher to move up there. Company sizes. Let's see if there is any information. Company popularity. Should be done around the side. Blah 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 blah. No, it doesn't really say. If I remember correctly, it's like 5 or 7 points higher than what your current popularity is will increase your popularity. I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to clarify on the exact amounts. But basically, we had to do sizably higher than our actual home base. So it's going to get progressively harder and harder to actually boost our rating to increase in size in our home territory. So we need to have better and better shows. Part of this tournament is about getting the best tag team, theoretically. So hopefully that will assist in producing those bigger, better shows. We have a lot of good talent, though. I think if we utilize them correctly, like we've done in the past here on some of these shows, 55 is definitely moving the needle for us. The 47 is the problem. So 47, the 53 would have, the 49 might have, 52 definitely. So really what we're shooting for is 50 or higher is going to increase our popularity within our home territory, which is what we really need to do to grow now. So that's going to be our focus in how we produce and build this up. Hopefully we can get it done. But anyways, that's enough for the ramble. Let's go ahead and get to the show. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I thought Stardom ended for a second. No. Nothing crazy in the news. Fred Yehi is upsetting AEW in an interview. Shocking that has not happened to us. But that is what it is. Signed. Okay, so Eli Drake's got a MLW trade, which is good for him. Probably will not be on the show. Been hiring some young talent, some jobbers. So not necessarily jobbers, but people I think that might be able to fill out the lower roster a little bit. Try them out. They're only like $30 a show, which I know we have plenty of people, but obviously this is a little bit higher because of all of the tag team wrestlers. But I felt like we need some more jobbers, more enhancement talent, or just lower mid-carders to fill out the roster and play around and see what we could do. So I hired 2 new people. Sean Studd is a, I'm not going to say known quantity in the area I live, but is a one of the runners of a really bad backyard federation in the Pennsylvania area, or at least it used to exist. It's gone away now in the last couple of years. It's called like Battleground Championship Wrestling. He's the son of Big John Studd, but he's got some pretty decent scores here. He's got a little bit of a built-in popularity in the Mid-Atlantic region, but his brawling potentially isn't bad. His charisma is sort of significantly high, and his microphone work is at least average, but could potentially be pretty okay. And he has decent star power. So, and really good menace. So, depending on how he is, he's not a young lion anymore, so he's not going to develop that much. I think he is 30, so he's past the point where he's going to develop his skills very high. But there is some potential here. At the very least, he might be a decent enhancement talent, lower mid-carder. And I think just in general, even though I don't think Big John Studd ever was in the NWA, I definitely get that kind of old South kind of feel in terms of the wrestling style. And I thought for a bruiser, bringing in another brawler would make a lot of sense. The other person we grabbed is Bianca Corelli, who is Santina Morella's daughter is very, very inexperienced and a young lion and young, so she will develop quickly. But already, I'm seeing some crazy numbers in here for what we're getting. Look at this. Anywhere between 55 to 100 basics, which for 2 years in is crazy. 54 to 99 in selling. I mean, obviously, our scouting level is very low here, but these potentially, at the worst, these are pretty damn good. And then when we get up here, like the actual brawling ability, she's got decent technical, even if it ends up being at the lower end, and potentially a wide range for charisma. So there's some potential here, at the very least, there being an enhancement to talent for the women's division, but she might develop into something really interesting. We'll have to kind of play and see where she actually stacks in there. So I'm kind of curious about that and to see where she goes. So that's what I got kind of in the bag in terms of the pipeline for decisions. I also have a Tyray also looked potentially interesting. Again, just trying to fill out that lower card and provide some maybe enhancement talent so we don't jeopardize some of the people that we have. Because some of the people that we have on the roster that are on the lower of the card, I want to start to move up after this tournament and do some stuff with. So, if you look at our unimportant, Austin Gunn probably is where he's going to be for a while. But let's see who we got here. Jason Cade probably is going to stick where he is. Wheeler Yuta, we're going to give probably a little bit of a push. Try to bring him up into the lower mid card. Same thing with Ricky Starks and Ricky Ruffin. We need to move them up from where they are. So, and obviously the Von Erichs should be higher for being our tag champions. For how long that is, who knows. But in order to do that, we have to kind of give them some people to put, to put them over. So that's kind of the goal there. We should also check our creative. I'm just curious to see, though this is obviously including some of the people we hired. So like Pentagon and Phoenix would be our franchise players. We have no next big things. Oh no, or is that just, no, we don't. That's concerning. Hot prospects are people that are younger that might not become main eventers, but have potential to be valuable. And with Ashley, Cade, Marshall, and then Danhausen. That's a shame. Danhausen, though. Well, guess he's not going to be on the show, huh? Because he lost that tournament. Talk to Talk is obvious, or showstoppers are, again, kind of not there for the most part. Our ring generals, well, these two are definitely... So, we'll have to see what it actually looks like when we remove the roster out. Same thing with the who's hot and who's not is kind of not accurate. The hidden gems is always interesting, though, because we get to see who's out there that could be have some potential here for us. So, like, EC3 is actually in our alliance right now. We could actually pull him in as an alliance loan at any time, and we may do that. Effie is an interesting idea. It's definitely a possibility. The Briscoes got a Ring of Honor contract right now. I'm probably not that interested in. Neither am I for Cheerleader and Melissa. I know nothing about Mark Sherman. I'm not really sure who this guy is. It's got great brawling, though. He's unemployed. I'm going to put a short list on him just to keep an eye out. But I really don't know much about him. But boy, he's got some decent stats here in terms of ring work. What would he cost? 30 a show. Why not? Well, why don't we throw him in there for a handshake deal for now? Worst comes to worst, he seems like a pretty adept hand. But, we'll take a look at him and we'll see if maybe he can move the needle a little bit for us. All right, let's move over to the show. I think we are filming still. Are we filming on Tuesday still? I gotta see. TV every Tuesday. We are still filming on Tuesdays. Eventually, we're going to change that because I think we're going to change it to Saturdays after the Great American Bash. Just because we have Ace Austin is a new regular hire, and he cannot work on Tuesdays because of Impact. So if we film on Saturdays, as long as it's not a Saturday that he is doing something. He's always working Saturdays too. Maybe Fridays. Fridays look fine. So we'll move it somewhere. I mean, that's the nice thing about taping the show is that we can always just move it along and just still air it on Tuesday. We're still competing with the shows that are there, but we do not have to film there. So we are going to move the taping time. Right now, Austin is not going to debut until the Great American Bash, so I'm not too concerned about our placement. Though, actually, now that I said that, I'm a little concerned about whether he will actually be able to debut. So let me check that real quick. Saturday, yeah, we're fine. Everything's clear. That's good. Because we will debut him, I think, on the Bash, or if not the Power after, but probably Bash, and we'll bring him in. And anyways, let's move on to the show. All right, what do we got here? We do have a Backstage Incident. Nicole Matthews brightened the mood backstage after doing several funny cartoon drawings of her colleagues. Okay, that's good. Gonna have to go into the arena. I tried to this time try to set this. Apparently, you can't set a studio for a television show for some reason. Not sure why, but that's fine. And we do have some locker room controls. We will meddle. Here's what we'll do. Let's go. Actually, let me grab one of our new guys. Where's Sean? Sean Studd and, I don't know, Brody Lee. These people involved. Alright, so this has a very high chance of failing. Extremely unlikely. Strong. So this has a high of strong friendship, but we don't really want Buddy Royal. Is there anybody that we could produce anything with? I actually never looked at this, and this is actually much more helpful than in 2016, where it just was kind of a guess. So based on their personalities, interesting. So we could have an extremely high chance of actually making a friendship. That sounds good. Had no effect, but something we could work on. Gotta look at that more often. I kind of always just breeze past that, but that's actually really helpful that they just straight up show you, like, not the roll percentage, but at least like saying, hey, you have a high chance of potentially doing something positive here. All right, we got the show. We have the booking of the final, and this is the actual go-home show for Great American Bash, which we kind of did a lot, but there's still a few other things and little storyline beats that we can get into. So we have some stuff that we can book towards. Let's go ahead and let's do it. All right, guys, we're ready. We got the go-home show of Power. Now, we had kind of dealt with a lot of the go-home elements already because we kind of booked the last one as it, but we do some stuff here. So let's go ahead and look at the final go-home show for Power here before we get to Great American Bash, and obviously the finals of the Crockett Cup. We start the show off with Madison Eagles and Nicole Matthews versus debuting Bianca Corelli and Allison Kay. It's not bad, actually, for so low on the card. I mean, Bianca's in-ring performance is not great here. And she gets a debut of Poor. So maybe a bad investment early on. We'll have to, again, scout her a little bit more and see how she develops. But, I mean, right now we just kind of expect her to just be a jobber, and that's what basically she does here. Subpar wrestling, a little heat. Madison Eagles and Nicole Matthews defeat both of them in 5 minutes when Madison Eagles pins Allison Kay. And Bianca was obviously the weak link here. She seemed off her game, though, so I'm not sure what's going on with her. If there's anything really here, holding back, being experienced. Yeah, so, something we'll have to look at. Maybe getting her a protege would be helpful. We don't know her full performance here, but this was a pretty underwhelming performance, especially for a work the crowd match. Not a great look early on. Afterwards, we have a segment where Madison Eagles and Nicole Matthews welcome Bianca Corelli to the show by pummeling her endlessly. They assault her on the ground, and they officially declare themselves on the microphone as the tag team Thought Crimes. And yeah, it does okay. It's not fantastic, but it is what it is. Their entertainment rating is I think I actually had them for fighting, which I think they probably underperformed, and I had her as selling, which I guess maybe I wish the angles showed you what their actual scores in those ratings were, but it could have been better. But we do officially have our first, I guess, women's tag team, or beginnings of kind of a stable. Since we're not going to have probably a women's tag title, we're just not big enough to have that many titles. But they seem to be declaring themselves as sort of a united alliance here, going after some of the other women. Afterwards, we have everybody's favorite wrestler in NWA, person that will be here forever, who I'm totally going to try to persuade to not retire so we can have him for another 5 years. Tim Storm comes out, and he cuts a promo in the ring after winning the Battle Royal to interject himself into a now triple threat ladder match for the Alliance title. And he talks about winning that Battle Royal, and he talks about his shot with the Alliance title. And he goes, I never thought I'd be here today. This body ain't what it used to be, but I'm pushing forward because I have a goal. For over a decade, I've been with this alliance when it was just in fire halls and county fairs, and I held that NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, and I held it with pride. That belt meant so much to me. It's still a part of me to this day, and I'll never really let it go. But now, the NWA has been rebuilt. It's become bigger and better than ever, and God, the future looks glorious. But it's being represented by such filth, such ego. I just can't let this stand. Drake, you do a disservice holding that Alliance title. You shamefully restrict who can wrestle for it. You hoard it like a dragon hoards gold. And instead, it should look and to shine like a beacon, to say to the world, here is the world's greatest wrestling alliance. Here is its future, and here is the person that represents it. Well, I'm coming for it. I'm climbing the ladder, and when I win, things will change. I promise. Don't know how a 50-year-old person will represent the future of the NWA, but at least he thinks so. The angle does get us hotter for the show. Our last ride storyline does advance and gets pretty not bad. 38. He's actually not that bad for a microphone worker. We give him a script, and he does pretty okay. I can't complain about that. When he retires, I think we'll keep him around. We might make him like a manager or even maybe a general manager or something. Wow, this is pretty good. We have a squash match. Miroslav, pissed off. Big Miro is real pissed off after that double DQ, and poor debuting Tyray gets the end of it. And in a quick 3-minute match, Miro ends up defeating him by submission. Ty gets a very good egomaniac gimmick rating for his squash match. He got a 36, not too shabby, especially for our undercard, maybe looking at some potential for some good things in the future. Miro obviously had a 69, Leftis was a 52, not too shabby. And afterwards, Miro grabs a microphone, pissed off, and says he wants Brody in an I Quit match. He does not content with taking a DQ, and he can't contain himself. So he's calling off the idea that he wants a I Quit match for the 10 pounds of gold, making it a pretty brutal main event for the Great American Bash. Afterwards, we have the Von Erichs, our current NWA champion, or tag team champions, versus the Villains for Hire. We're giving them a little bit of a win because they haven't been on for a while. Get that ring rust out. Get them prepared for whoever is going to be the Crockett Cup winners that they're going to be facing at Great American Bash. And they defeat the Villains for Hire in 8 minutes. Got a 42 for Ross, 39 for Marshall, 30 for Brody, and a 43 for PCO. Von Erich's legacy advances with this segment. And yeah, it does okay. You know, they get excellent chemistry for both teams. Was poorly paced. It was a work the crowd match that was not needed. I didn't expect them to get so hot early, but it gets us a 31. It's fine and gives them a little bit of momentum going into the actual pay-per-view. Afterwards, we have a pretty solid promo segment featuring Danhausen, Paul Pinky George, and Warhorse. The announcers stated they have a peculiar video segment that they were given on a VHS tape that was very sticky, and they are going to play it now at the request of its owner. And as they play the video, it is Danhausen and Warhorse standing outside the studio. Danhausen is uncomfortably close to the camera, smiling and looking into it as he's trying to peer into its lens. Is it on? It's on, right? I can't tell. What's this red blinking light? Oh, hello. I'm Danhausen. And I have important news. The foul-mouthed Scott Steiner, bad man, no good. Well, he prevented Warhausen victory. We were told we can't be here anymore, but Danhausen used his mastery of negotiations to persuade the owners. Come see. Montage of scenes are shown of Danhausen hiding in various things across the NWA arena. Lockers, trash cans, under a desk, each time trying to gang up and pester Paul Pinky George into giving him a title shot for Scott Steiner. And each time, Pinky George says basically, no, you don't work here, go away. Eventually, Pinky goes to a restroom after being pestered all day by Danhausen, and while sitting in the stall, while some reason the camera's in there, and that's very weird, he finds out that the stall has been completely removed the toilet paper. And Danhausen pokes his head underneath, slowly moving underneath and rolling under like a mechanic would underneath a car, while smiling and sneering eerily and holding the last roll. Title match? He says. Fine, Pinky George replies. And so we finally find out who is hungry for Shoney's. It seems Danhausen is, and it sounds like he's getting a title match against Scott Steiner, despite being a free agent, for the Shoney's Championship at Great American Bash. Does pretty well. We get a 40, not too shabby. We have a video package for the Crockett Cup Finals, which is our main event tonight. It's expected to be heated between the two teams. It's going to be a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. And we have a little bit of just a hype package for about 2 minutes. It doesn't do very well, though, unfortunately. But it just shows their various wins leading up to the Crockett Cup. And we move on to the finals of the Crockett Cup. To see how we do for our main event tonight. We have 2 guys, 1 tag versus Contra Unit. You guys in the Discord voted. Over, I believe, 36 people voted total over the course of the week. Presumably, 15 of them were probably Joe's alternate accounts, but it's fine. Because ultimately, though, looking at the scores here, with 85% of the vote, Contra Unit do in fact win our first Crockett Cup, or proper Crockett Cup of this season at least. Not a lot of representation for 2 guys, 1 tag, unfortunately. I think only 5 votes. The remaining 29 going to Contra Unit. Jacob Fatu and Joey Machete. I feel like strong style for them here. Definitely feeling like they would fit in here. I think both teams would fit in nicely in NWA, but Contra Unit win a contract and a title shot against the Von Erichs at Great American Bash. We gain heat for that storyline as it advances, and actually, performance of Jacob Fatu stood out being good. Unfortunately, the segment's only a 44. Josh Woods and Joey Machete struggling a little bit. This was a big, heated brawl. I think we actually did a good old-fashioned brawl for this one. Unfortunately, though, I think maybe the wild brawl hurt us a little bit, even though I think it boosted up Fatu and Silas Young a little bit. But in a very heated brawl, Contra Unit do win. They submit, I believe. Yep, Jacob Fatu submitted Josh Woods and win the NWA Crockett Cup. Fatu is head and shoulders above everybody else and finalizes the Crockett Cup tournament. It leaves us with a 48, which I don't know if that's enough to move the needle for us. I don't remember whether we're 17 or 18 for our total regions, but we advance everywhere else. It's a little bit weaker of a card for the Go Home show because of some of the people missing, but I think we did what we needed to do to advance the storylines, and now we are pretty much ready for a pretty good card for Great American Bash. Danhausen getting his title shot despite being a free agent. Obviously, we have the Contra Unit versus Von Erichs having a pretty interesting matchup heading forward into into Great American Bash, and our triple threat with the women's division. A lot of gimmick matches. We got an I Quit match. We got a no DQ match. We got a cage match. We got a ladder match, triple threat. It's going to be a crazy, gimmicky, overbooked pay-per-view. I love it. Let's move on. All right, we got some kind of mail. Let's see what it is. We got a .03. It's not too shabby. We are our thing expires. Our deals for our TV show does expire in like 2 weeks or so. So we do have to worry about that. Presumably, our show probably ended up doing pretty well. Sean Spears is getting an extension for a new contract. What's his ratings at? You're available to negotiate. There's no point because we can get him in the contract anyways from the Alliance, but not that I really want to use him. Show went down very well. Feedback was excellent, fantastic. 437 fans attended. Not too shabby. I think Bianca Belair is available. Wow. To the final month of the deal. Okay, they're just extending it now. So nothing that we can scout even if we wanted it to. Not that I necessarily want to, but always like to see what our opportunities are. So pretty good show. Looking at our buddy Tim Storm, I did find where we could find out how long we have him for. We go into Talk to Worker, and we talk to him about potentially considering his upcoming retirement. He's retiring in 34 days, so we got about a month to play around with his going away storyline. I may try to talk him out of it, but honestly, I am fine with him retiring into a more of a backstage figure, or road agent, maybe on-screen personality of some sort. He's currently just a wrestler, but I would like to see if he can make himself as active as an on-screen personality. Maybe I could do that. How about a road agent? I could do that. How about occasional wrestler? Okay, so we have a bunch of different options for him now. I don't know if once he retires, if he'll do occasional wrestler. We could always try to talk him out of retirement, but for now, I'm fine with it. And that was pretty much a show. It was not too shabby. Pretty happy with that, with what we had. don't see any needles moving for our progress right now, but we will see at the end of the month how that goes. But that was the end of the Crockett Cup. Thank you guys for voting. That was a lot of fun to kind of go through and see how it worked. I actually really enjoy booking the tournaments on here. It makes things a lot easier. And we're definitely going to be doing more, because obviously we're going to be doing our losers bracket, which will just kind of silently be happening. And then we'll be looking at the Circle Squared tournament, where we will be picking probably like 16 competitors to go through. It won't take up as much of the show, I think. The Crockett Cup was a big deal for us, so we kind of booked it like that. But for the most part, the Circle Squared will probably just be something that's an ongoing tournament that's not really the focus of the show as we kind of move along. So thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next time for Great American Bash.